It's like I forgot how to record a podcast. What is wrong with me? Hello and welcome to the Raw Obsidian Podcast. My name is Kris and I am the maker here. Thank you so much for joining me in my corner of the internet where I talk about knitting, spinning, quilting, sewing, whatever craft that wriggles its way into my heart. That is what this podcast is all about. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you're new here, welcome. Enjoy the space, grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, water, a project, and relax with me. I appreciate you being here. I do want to give a shout out to Club Obsidian member Hannah. Thank you so much, Hannah, for your contribution and becoming a member of Club Obsidian. Your support really does make this podcast happen. It makes it sustainable. And so I thank you. If you're not a Club Obsidian member, you can join for as little as $3 a month to get a chance to get a wonderful shout out and other amazing extra content outside of the podcast. But I digress. Let's get into it. So catching up. It's been a very productive month. It really has been. I mean, I have a lot to show y'all. It's also been a really eventful month. At the start of the month, at the start of the month, I had the pleasure of just meeting this really lovely lady who lived in my neighborhood. And her name is Kay, and she was moving to a care facility out here further east in the Wallowas. She was getting rid of all of her sewing supplies and other craft things. And it really just meeting her and helping her pack up all of the things that were an integral part of her life, pieces of craft materials that brought her deep joy, much like all of my materials, my yarn, my needles, everything. And she was just giving it away to the community free of cost. And she gifted me some amazing things. And aside from the stuff that she gave me that I've been using, the things that she gave me really helped me step up my making game, tools and other things that I would not have dreamed of owning if it were not for her. When I think about future me, because it's so easy to think of like, what am I going to make now? Like what stuff can I get? What things can I get? And it's so easy to just get caught up in the obtaining of things and the joy of making stuff, which is why we do it. But there was just like her legacy of giving and talking with me and sharing her life and wisdom and so on. It was such a beautiful experience. And it made me think about who I want to be in my old age if I'm blessed to live a long and glorious life full of experiences and, tons of wisdom and making knowledge under my belt. If I get to a point where I can't use the things, my needles, my yarn, if I get to the point where I can't knit anymore, I can't sew anymore, I can't do those things anymore, I want to continue that legacy of giving and like passing my stuff on to someone younger and give them the gift of access. And she really did give me the gift of access. And so that was like a really like magical beginning of my month, was meeting Kay and receiving things from her that I never in my wildest dreams imagined receiving. So, and I'm like emotional and stuff about it. But I'll be sharing some of those things with you in the acquisition segment. I have 1,001% intention of driving the couple of hours to go visit Kay in her new home, and bringing some things that I have made from her gifts, and showing her and sitting with her and talking with her, because I just hold her in so much high regard, and I'm so thankful that I met her, that like, I don't know, it's wonderful. Aside from that, like, we had a heat wave and it was just nuts. Like, it's been like weather whiplash here. Like 35 degrees in the morning sometimes, 45 degrees in the morning, and then it's like 90 outside. It's the worst feeling. And so today is like the first day. It's cloudy outside right now, so that's why the lighting is kind of and yeah, it's cloudy. It's going to be in the low 60s today. There's a breeze in the air. It finally feels like that like heat wave is dissipating. We had a super like nuts thunderstorm like last night, and it was like so bad to the point where like the lightning and thunder like woke me and Jordan up in the middle of the night. It literally felt like someone had like dropped something from the sky. I mean, lightning, but like, and like it landed somewhere in our driveway. Like, it was just shaking the house. It was really obvious that like, I'm pretty sure that lightning was striking within a mile of our house, which is not the first time. We had another thunderstorm a week and a half ago that was very similar, and there were lightning strikes across the freeway from us in an open field that started a field fire. So yeah, and Zaz of course just slept right through it, which I'm so surprised because that literally shook me to my core. But yeah, it's just been hot and things have been super busy. We have been, looking at like trying to find a new place to live, with cheaper rent. And I haven't talked about this too much except for on Instagram, but we have plans to try to launch a sheep operation here, and we've been really like buckling down, getting like business stuff in order, and like looking for pasture land with a housing unit on it. And it is just so hard because the real estate market is like super nuts. We can't even buy a house with what we qualify for in a loan. It's too expensive. And also just farming land, there's like, if you don't know, there's a massive influx of people just who don't use farmland, who just want a vacation home, or just like companies that just buy farmland and it just sits there, and you wonder why we have a food crisis here in the States. And that's just one little itty bitty thing. But yeah, we've been looking for a new place to live so we can start this sheep operation. I want to raise sheep. The breed, not sure yet. We have an idea, but you know, it's been a dream of mine to work with fiber in that way, and so we're trying to make it happen. It helps that we live in a rural area, but it's also like really, really hard. It's really hard. So that's what I've been doing, is all of that. Yeah, lots of things. But in the midst of the emotional highs and the emotional lows and all the heat and when is fall gonna be here, I have been making lots of things. And it's been really fun. So let's talk about some finished objects. First things first, let's get this out of the way because I know everyone is talking about the Cargill sweater release, which is happening hopefully today, which is the 30th. I'm filming this the day before. Here is my Cargill sweater in all its glory. Let me just say that this was an absolute dream to knit. An absolute dream. It still shows up really blue on the camera, but it is indeed an emerald green color, a dark emerald green. In the pattern, it calls for a double knit collar and longer sleeves that have like this wonderful like poof at the bottom. And I literally could not do that with this yarn because it's like so warm and so scratchy. And I did that with a reason, because I wanted something durable, something that I can wear outside when we're like hiking and it's like snowy and like rainy or whatever, and I wanted it to not get ruined. So I did not do what the pattern called for when it came to the neckline and the arms. I did an I-cord edge for the neckline, and I did a bracelet length sleeve with an I-cord edge. And mostly just because the yarn is just so warm and it's not really very soft. I did not want that just like up on my neck. I could not do that. So it's lovely, and it's really nice, and it was so much fun to knit. I was really nervous about running out of yarn, which is also another reason why I opted for a shorter sleeve and not doing the neckline the way the pattern called for, which is okay because it just turned out perfect. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out. I knit the size 2, and I am 100% sure that I am a little bit too buff for the size 2. It's a little, there's not really much ease in the arms for me. But in like the bust and the body, oh my god, someone just keeps texting me and I just can't do it. Okay. It fits really great in the bust and in the body area. It fits wonderfully, but it's just the arms are a little on the tight end for me. It fits great. It fits wonderful. And I love this sweater so much. The pattern is kind of genius because you have this like short row shaping. So you have the high neck and the lower, or the high back of the neck and the lower front of the neck, so you can tell the difference between the front and the back. And I want to say that if you are a beginner, you can do whatever the heck you want. This could be your first sweater if you really, really love a challenge. Or if you're extremely adventurous. I will not deter any beginner away from doing whatever they want to do. If you want to do it, friend, you just go off, do it. Like, I'm rooting for you. I know of many beginners that have done cables. I was a beginner who did cables right out the bat. Did it look really great? Not really, but I learned so much and I had a lot of fun and I loved what I made. And so the yoke shaping is definitely a learning curve. Thankfully, Rebecca is a genius and decided to do a video in addition to the pattern, so you know how to do the stitch pattern and you can, get all the questions you need answered while you're doing the yoke. Honestly, the yoke is like the most difficult part of the whole pattern. Once you get to the arms and separating for sleeves and for the body, it's just like smooth sailing. The dip stitch pattern is super addictive. I do have chronic hand pain, so it was a bit taxing on my hands a little bit, but that just meant that I needed to take more breaks. I needed to take care of me, and that's just my individual experience. You might not be someone who has chronic hand pain and carpal tunnel like me. So yeah, do with that information what you will. This was a wonderful test knit. I look forward to getting a lot of wear out of this sweater. I do have ends that are like sticking out. They are woven in, they are just have not been snipped yet. But yeah, I knit the size 2. Everything is wonderful about it. If you want more information, I will link to the Cargill sweater pattern below. You should definitely, if you're lusting after this sweater, give it a try. Just do it. Just dive in. I didn't know that I was craving a full textured sweater until I made this sweater, and I'm so glad I did. Yeah. The Cargill sweater, y'all, it's been released. Get your life together and buy yourself a copy. Truly impressed. I love this sweater. I love it. I love it. So that is my first FO. My second finished object is also a test knit. Brandi, Cheyenne, Harper is amazing. If you don't follow Brandi on Instagram or even here on YouTube, you're making a big mistake. I will say that. You are making a big mistake. So Brandi's most recent design is the Hey Boo Beanie. It's currently in testing. This is my finished test knit pattern. I used the Wool Ease super chunky, thick and quick and thick yarn in the colorway Fossil, and this is truly like, I've been wearing it nonstop. It is cozy, it is squishy. There is this double knit like hem for the hat or headband area, and it is just like, oh, it's so squishy, it's so soft. I have never knit with chunky yarn before. I haven't knit with any yarn that required anything above 10 size US 10 needles. And I used US size 15. And I did the size medium. And my head circumference is about 21.5 inches. And this fits really nicely. It's like snug over the head. And yeah, you can like fold up the brim for that cute like hipster over the ear look. Or you can have it down and it like comes over like close to the eyes. Gives you really nice coverage. I'm excited because it gets super snowy here, and this is going to keep my little peanut head warm. Yeah, I love it. I haven't stopped wearing it since the moment it was finished. And I loved it so much that I had to make another one for Jordan. So now there's 2 of them. And yeah, his is in the size large. Yeah. The Hey Boo Beanie by Brandi, Cheyenne, Harper. I highly recommend the beanie for Christmas gifts. If you want a quick knit, I mean, I think in total it took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to make that hat. And so yeah, it's an easy beginner friendly pattern. There is a video tutorial on YouTube that Brandi has filmed. There is also a wonderful list of yarn substitutions that Brandi has listed on her website. And yeah, just get your life, buy this pattern. It's releasing October 11th. The perfect gift knit for Christmas season. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, next finished object is, well, the next 3 finished objects are of the sewing variety. The first is my Paola workwear jacket. Let's see if I can get it in frame. There we go. I love it. This is a free pattern on thefabricstore.com. I used fabric that was gifted to me by wonderful Kay, amazing, magnificent Kay. And yeah, I just like, some mistakes that I made was just, you know, with the weird way that the back of the neck facing is. But I mean, it's been such a fun project to make. I did a lot of color block with this jacket, as you can tell. And it's like super cozy, comfy. And like, I don't know. It's just wonderful. I have another one that I'm going to be making. I'm in this like color block phase. I don't know if it's because everything is trending in color block these days. But I mean, that's what my heart is trending, in color block and in fall colors. So like, of course I have to make a cute color block jacket for myself for pumpkin patch season. This is in the size 8 to 10. I wanted it to be bigger because I just wanted to really layer up in the jacket. I did it calls for 4 pockets instead of the 2 that I did. There's like lower pockets and upper pockets, but I just wanted some lower pockets for this jacket. Yeah, and this jacket doesn't call for a lining, but I did line it with the coordinating orangey fabric on the inside, with the pinstripe on the inside of the arms, and it just created these lovely fun color block details. I, for the first time, serged a lot of my edges, and it was like the best feeling ever to not zigzag an edge or a seam edge to make sure that it stays secure and doesn't fray. Game changer having a serger. It really is. Yeah, so that is my Paola workwear jacket in the size 8 to 10. Wow, I couldn't I love this pattern. I'm making another one in a quilted version. Yeah, it's just great. I love it. The next finished sewing object is this really fun Peppermint magazine pocket skirt. I did a shorter version in this like wonderful woven fabric. It's a little see-through, but I think it should be fine. It's definitely going to be a fall staple with this wonderful stretchy waistband. This is also a free pattern on the Peppermint Magazine Sewing School website. And I'll link to this also below. I'm pretty sure I did the size 4 or the size 6. I can't remember. I've done so many alterations. I really think it's somewhere in between. Yeah, and I serged, which was really nice. I serged the inside seams, which was very nice to do, very fun to do, to have, especially this woven fabric is really prone to fraying, and so serging the seams just gave me that extra bit of, I don't know, just extra bit of peace of mind that I needed. I'm really excited to wear this with some tights, some boots, some hand knit socks, a good sweater. Yeah, this is gonna be wonderful. And lastly, my final finished object is my second pair of Clyde Workpants in this wonderful bluish and white pinstripe. I did change the waistband a little bit. Instead of doing the triple stitch across the top, I just opted for the single stitch because the last time I made a pair of Clyde Workpants, I did the triple stitch and it just really stretched out my elastic, and I hated that, and I wanted my pants to actually stay on my waist, on my butt, like, you know, just not falling over. So I made these. I added a little bit more ease, so they're a little bit more free-flowing, a little bit more comfy, and it worked out in my favor. The pockets are lovely. I'm definitely going to be making these pants again in a different fabric. Whatever that fabric might be, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, these are a size 6. And I love them so much. They fit so comfortably. But yeah, that is my finished objects. It is a lot more than I usually have, which is great. It's very obvious that my sewing mojo has kicked it up a notch. Oh, let us not forget, that's not my final finished object. This is my final finished object. This is a project bag, my first prototype project bag. I am trying to get into the project bag game, trying to sell some of these babies, but I want to make something fun. And so this is a quilted version. I've been using this a lot. It's got a box bottom. It's got cotton drawstrings. Very fun. This project bag is also very big and very full. It's got a lot of things in here. It's got my Kindle, my Notions pouch. It's got 2 projects, y'all, in here. A printed knitting pattern. It's got little pockets in here. It's got all kinds of stuff. I did a process video for making this project bag for all of my Club Obsidian members. So if you want to become a member, you'll get access to that video and many others to come. But yeah, this project bag is so nice. But I need a bigger one. I've got so much in here. I mean, that's just on me. I really don't need to carry this much stuff, but I want one that has handles and also just like, I don't know, just a little deeper. Yeah. I want a project tote bag. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And so I'm gonna be running a poll on my Instagram about where I'm just basically like, y'all are gonna help me choose the fabric. You're gonna help me choose how to coordinate the fabrics, what's gonna be the lining, what's gonna be the outside, what's gonna be the cord channel color, what's gonna be the color of the pockets, etc. And I'm just gonna sew it up, do a process video, and share it here on YouTube after it's made. Because I need, and who knows, maybe I might make a second one and do a little giveaway. Yeah, I can do a giveaway whenever the heck I want. I don't need to hit a certain milestone. So I'm just gonna do that. More details to come on that. I literally just like, my brain just went, you should do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, I should. So yeah, let me suss out the details before I like really announce and commit to something like that. But ooh, I found candy in my bag. I'll have to deal with that later. But yeah, final finished object is my project bag. There it is. You can probably see the quilting. It's been hand quilted. Yeah, but that's that for finished objects. So let's talk about works in progress. So y'all saw my finished Cargill by the Creabea. What if I told you that I'm knitting another Cargill sweater? Two Cargills. Two. Yes, we're knitting a second Cargill, y'all, and it is going wonderfully. I am using Bruja Amatista by Brujeria Lana. It is a wonderful line of yarns by Nina, who is Brujeria Lana. Nina kind of disappeared off the internet. And there's probably a lot of reasons for that. One being haters. and 2, most likely protecting her peace and focusing on family and school and yada yada. But Nina, if you are watching this podcast, I miss you. I miss your presence on the internet. I miss your face. I miss your art. This yarn makes me miss you. Yeah, this is 100% Highland Peruvian wool on her broomstick base or sport weight. And this is just the wildest yarn. Let's find one that doesn't have a tag. So here it is in all of its glory. This yarn is absolutely wonderful. And I don't know, I need a Halloween sweater. One that I can wear while taking Zaz out trick-or-treating this year. Ambitious, I know. Instead of doing socks like most people will do, like Socktober, I'm not. It's sweater time. I'm gonna be doing a sweater instead. But Caked Up, this yarn just looks so wonderful. It's just like beautiful. And then in pattern, like it looks, I don't know if you can see, the colors alone are kind of chaos, but the stitch pattern for the Cargill still shines through. And at first I wasn't sure, you know, but I was like, all right, Kris, trust the process. Give this yarn at least 4 pattern repeats. And I'm so glad I did, because it's just like, oh, dropped a stitch marker. It's just, oh, and I'm dropping stitches. It's giving candy corn. It's giving chaos fall vibes. It's giving pumpkin bread. I'm obsessed with the yarn, and I'm also obsessed with the Cargill sweater pattern, obviously. So for those of you who are, you know, it's release day, and you know, everyone's going to be casting it on. I've basically started with you just a little bit ahead of time. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this, because my previous Cargill was knit with such an itchy yarn. This one I am going to knit still with a shorter bracelet sleeve, but I'm actually going to do the folded knit collar on this one. And also it's going to be a little, you know, probably around the same croppedness of the previous Cargill, or my first Cargill that I knit. I am also knitting a size up in order to accommodate for my buff little arms. That's what I get for carrying a toddler around. And so instead of the size 2, I am knitting the size 3. And we're going to see how that goes. So far, it looks really good. And I will say, after knitting the yoke, I think in my test, I tried knitting the yoke twice. There's just, you know, when test knitting things, there's always bumps in the road and things that need correcting and all of that. And all of us are trying to grasp the, you know, the nitty gritty of a pattern. After doing that, I am like flying through this yoke. Like, oh yeah, I get it now. And so I literally just started this last night, and I've already joined in the round, and I'm working on some raglan increases. But yeah, and I'm also knitting this on US 6 or 4mm needles. That was what I used to obtain gauge. And it's just like, it's soft. It feels so good. I'm really excited about this. I really, 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 really want to wear this one just because it's just so chaotic. I love it. I love it. But yeah, Cargill sweater, knit in the most beautiful yarns. Yeah, so that's my first whip. My second whip is, of course, my Patons slip knit stitch socks, knit on 9-inch circulars, 1.5 or 2.5 millimeter needles. Here is my progress so far. It's very obvious that I've been focusing on my first Cargill sweater because I have not made very much progress on this sock aside from turning the sleeve or turning the heel and working on the gusset. But it's coming along. Here's the yarn. Using some stash yarn, of course. I don't think I have purchased much yarn this year. I just want to work through my stash and knit with what I have because it's, it's what I can do right now. But these socks are looking so good. I'm really excited. I'm so glad I went with the inverted purl stitch instead of the knit stitch. It really just brings out that texture of the sock motif, or the motif for the socks. And yeah, this has been really fun. Next for my whips is that quilted Paola workwear jacket that I had spoken to y'all about before. But this time we're using different fabrics. Here is what we got going on, y'all. We've got this fun brown textured cotton, wonderful print, and this flannel floral goodness. And this is going to be my quilted version. I do need to buy batting so I can quilt all of my jacket pieces before I sew them together. This is going to be my first attempt at a quilted jacket. I really want a quilt coat, but I feel like I need to really grasp the techniques involved before I really truly invest in making a quilt coat. I really want to make a quilt that will be turned into a quilt coat. And I also want to do a solid color that will be turned into a quilt coat. But first, I just want to grasp the, just the idea of what it's supposed to be. And so I'm going to practice quilting my pieces. I am going to utilize this Paola workwear jacket pattern because it's free, to just kind of hash out all of the binding that I'm going to need for all of the seams. I'm definitely going to be hand stitching the binding to the inside seams. I'm not going to do a reversible quilt coat. I really like the inner layers and such. I am on this workwear jacket, how there's the little smaller pockets. Those are going to be on the inside of the jacket. I am probably going to use the pockets designed for the Harper tunic by Elizabeth Suzann Studio. I'm wearing that actually right now. And it's got this giant pocket, and want to use that pocket design for the outside, because it's got a little slight slant, but it's like not too deep, but also like shallow enough. I don't know. I want to experiment a little bit and really make it my own. I don't know if I'm going to do a collar on this one. I might just do binding of the seams instead around the top and the outside, or add a hood. Probably won't add a hood. I'll probably just do the quilted seams or the bound seams. Yeah. Lots of planning is going into this quilt coat. But I'm very, very excited about it. It should be really fun. Yeah, so that is, I mean, my other whip, of course, is always going to be my first quilt. I'm still making that and doing a disappearing 9 patch quilt. And I'm still working on my, my Nightshift shawl by Cheyenne knits. And I still have not touched my coat for Roxane. I've just been a little distracted, let's be real. But I do plan on trying to get both of those done by the winter. I feel like that is a good plan because both are going to be wonderful layers for winter. Yeah, so that's that for all of the whips. I will say that my plans for fall are really hard to say because I have so many things that I want to make and limited time. So I'm just gonna like vibe with what I got going on, and just see where it goes. I have, my plans are just to see how it goes. I know everyone's got these wonderful fall knitting and sewing plans, but I feel like I made like a massive leap on all of those plans and like executed a good chunk of them already. So we'll see how the making goes. I might even do like a sooner episode with my solidified fall plans. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, that's that for the whips. Let's move on to crafty acquisitions, crafty blessings. Okay, everyone. So here is what I've acquired from Wonderful K. My previous machine, or the machine that I have set aside for now because I could use it for heavy duty sewing. I had a Singer heavy duty, and that was really wonderful to have. It was really great, but it was so loud. I could hardly ever sew while Zaz is sleeping. And so from Kay, for free, she gave me this Brother SQ9185. It is a computerized sewing machine with embroidery capabilities, quilting capabilities, and she also gave me this Husqvarna Viking Husky Lock 910, another computerized machine, both for free, which just blew me away. Yeah, so I've been using this machine a lot. It has this like handy little craft light on it. And it's just been like a dream. It's been a total dream. I mean, my other serger was like super old and it needed a lot of work. I also got that for free from my neighbor across the street, but it was an ancient serger. It had seen better days. But yeah, I was just honestly like blown away. And she's like, yeah, just take it. Just take it, have it. And I'm like, what? So yeah, these are my two main machines that I have been making on. It has been wonderful. Among other things, let me just like walk y'all through. In addition, all of this thread, including the racks, and this thread, including the rack, the yellow cutting mat right there. There is tons of fabric down there. It's a mess. My whole office area is a mess. This box this is a batik fabric for quilting, flannel fabrics, like endless flannel fabrics. This is a bag full of interfacing. All of these are crochet and knitting books, like vintage, like from the early 50s on to like later on, like 2000s. Many boxes of just notions, like chalk. This is a like a little button like knife where you just use the little tiny apple behind the buttonhole and you use the knife to just cut the threads so you can create your buttonhole after you've like made it on the sewing machine. Lots and lots of sewing machine needles. Along with my brother machine, it also came with every single presser foot. I'm talking like this walking presser foot, this embroidery quilting presser foot, button presser foots. I think this is another walking presser foot. Like, just like featherweight parts. It's just so much. I also have endless crochet hooks. As you can see, it's just like there's so much. There's just so much that she gave me, and I mean there's more fabric too. I have like a whole suitcase full of fabric and like pattern making materials, like the gridded tracing paper. It's just like and wonderful supplies for quilting. There's just like there's so much of it. I even got like a chair from her that I use at my desk. That's really been really great for my back when I'm sewing for long periods of time. Yeah, it was overwhelming receiving all of that stuff, like when I was filling my car and loading up stuff, and even more stuff like ended up going to my sewing group for all of the ladies to go through. And so we are all kind of joining in and making quilts out of some of the fabric that Kay has given to us, and donating those quilts in her name. That is my wonderful acquisitions. They're really not acquisitions though. They're more like a literal blessings. So I am very grateful. Oh, I also got this awesome, like, older stand-up ironing board. My current ironing board has always been on the ground. I've been on my hands and knees ironing things. And to have a stand-up ironing board is like a game changer for me. So I got that from my friend Becky. Thank you, Becky. It's been wonderful to use. I use it a lot. Yeah. It's been wild times, y'all. Wild times. But I am just beyond grateful to be gifted wonderful things and supported by so many new people in my life that I've had the pleasure of meeting in person and befriending and all of that. So yeah, things are just looking up. Things are looking up so much. Yeah, that is all I have to share with you guys today. I'm so glad fall is here. I am so glad it has cooled off. I'm glad to have things that help me make stuff. The support of all of my Club Obsidian members, the support of my wonderful friends in making and knitting, and of course all of you who stick around and watch this podcast. Thank you. So yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to be a Club Obsidian member starting at $3, I will have a link to my Ko-fi below. There are 2 vlogs on there right now that go a little bit more in depth on, you know, the story with Kay and also just like making my project bag and other things. Really fun stuff. And yeah, cool things for Club Obsidian. Thank you for watching this far, if you have, and comment below what your plans for fall making is this year. Do you have any plans at all? Are you just gonna vibe like me and just see what happens? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Yeah, so until my next video, happy making. Bye.